Fight fans, myself and Will are here again for another edition of the MMA Huddle. Thank you all for tuning in, and your feedback on YouTube, Twitter is always welcomed. So subscribe, click the link below if you're watching us on YouTube right now. If you're listening to this on SoundCloud, iTunes, all that jazz, hit the subscribe button. Again, feel free to put any questions in below, anything you'd like us to answer, debate about, anything like that. We love all your feedback, people. We've got questions at the end of the show. But before we get to the questions, Will, we're going to talk about Invicta FC that happened this weekend, Invicta FC 27. You had UFC in St. Louis. Then you've got Bellator coming up this weekend, bro. And the UFC pay-per-view coming up this weekend. So some awesome stuff going on in the fight scene. How do you feel about this epic week coming up for both kind of big promotions, really?
I'm really looking forward to 220. I think the heavyweight fight is really, really interesting. I think it's the biggest heavyweight fight they've ever done. There's kind of history on one side with Stipe if he wins and defends the title again. Ngannou is just a story which is kind of really unbelievable when you look at it in the UFC. It's pretty obvious the UFC. I think they want this guy to kind of have the belt around his face because he's got so much upside with it. He's got a story there. He's a physical specimen. He comes from Europe, comes from Africa, so he's got such a horizon out there that he can reach to. So it's massive, and he's facing probably the best one or two heavyweights that the UFC's ever had, but maybe the best all-around heavyweight we probably ever had. And DC and Ozdemir is one. I wasn't really looking at it too much before this week, but then the last few days I've really started to get into it, and some people are talking to me about Ozdemir, and then there's the DC coming back after he got knocked out. So what's his mentality going to be when he comes back? It's an interesting week. I don't think it's the best pay-per-view card of the year. I think there's interesting fights throughout the card.
Yeah.
But the two big fights at the top make it. So, and I don't know how many cards we've actually had where the heavyweight, the two biggest divisions in the UFC are actually headlining the card.
Yeah.
It might be the first time that's ever happened. So I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
There's, like you say, there's a couple of fights. This card and the next pay-per-view, the cards themselves are not the strongest pay-per-views you will see. But there's a handful of fights here and there. There's a couple of fighters you're looking forward to. And I suppose that gives me enough engagement to want to kind of warrant my divided attention on each one. So, bro, look, let's go to the ladies first. Invicta FC 27 went down. I've got to say, I was impressed with the card, impressed with the women's performances. Shannon Knapp, take a bow. My dear, you are, a curtsy. You were working hard, you and your team. You put on fantastic fights. There was just finishes and untoward effort. Oh my gosh, there is a girl out there, ladies and gentlemen, who's had ridiculous amount of Muay Thai fights. Loma Boonmi. Oh my god, that girl is so good. She looks amazing at 21. 21, Will. She looks phenomenal. I cannot wait to see her fight again. And the girl she fought, Melissa Wang. That Melissa Wang is going to break other girls down. She will fight other girls who will break under her relentless aggression. Wang did not stop the whole time coming forward to fight her. That was insane, bro. That fight stood out to me. I know it went 3 rounds, but dang, that was good.
Yeah. No, she's one of Danny Rubenstein's girls. He goes over to Thailand quite a bit, and he's actually with Ruby Entertainment. So I know about her. 300 fights, Muay Thai fights, before 21 years old. She came in there. You can see that she's obviously very, very young in the MMA side of it, but she's dangerous, very, very dangerous with those knees. I mean, there was a couple that were quite close to being
close,
really,
yeah,
really
but that's just
she's, as I say, she's still young. Melissa Wang, I think she would have beat the majority of girls on that night, but she just was getting peppered with knees and she got broken down eventually. It was a really I enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed that fight. And Mallory Martin after it, I really enjoyed that one. I'm actually quite a fan of her. I think she's got a little bit of drive in her. I think she's another one that can break girls.
Mm-hmm.
And just Invicta know what they're doing. They put on a solid show. It's even when I was in the Vegas one, they've got a structure. They keep to it. They don't deviate to do other things. They keep a nice solid structure, and they're really, really good. Like, really good.
Like I say, that Martin's, her ground and pound was vicious. Like, that was some heavy ground and pound there. But I'll tell you what fight caught me. The first fight in the card, mate. Helen Peralta, that girl was calm, smooth, cool. And when she hit, it was like a sniper. She was just whipping those strikes in. And Jade Ripley just got starched. Like, for 2 minutes, like, Helen was just line up, bop, 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 bop. And eventually just like, pop, pop, pop. And just, oh my. Like, that girl was impressive as well. But like I said about Loma again, just going to go back to her. Rear naked, she nearly won the rear naked choke. Like, that would have been amazing if she'd gotten that. Like, oh man, I would have been absolutely buzzing. But, you know, like, got Porto as well, getting the finish with this rear naked choke. Sarah Kaufman looking absolutely phenomenal. To be brutally honest, I thought she looked absolutely solid. I don't know, again, a lot of people were questioning why she got cut by the UFC. It was a weird one to get cut. She came back, performed really well on Invicta against Pani Kanzad, who's one of the better girls in that division as well. And I think Sarah Kaufman's really shown that the UFC probably made a mistake, especially with Kaufman going to work with Duke Rufus, adding a couple of bits to her kind of already polished off arsenal. You know, it was good. It was good entertainment bout.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the reasons that Sarah Kaufman maybe left the UFC, I think she was still in her old Strikeforce contract. And she probably got played very, very well by Strikeforce. So the UFC letting her go, she wins a couple of fights. She beat Jessica Rose Clark, who won at the weekend in her fight before that. So she wins a couple of fights. They bring her back. She's probably on less money, but she'll probably still be on better money, which she's getting out in the smaller organisations. Pani, I'm a big fan of Pani, but there's obviously a little bit of kind of discipline missing with her. She's missing weight. She's it's a shame because when she was coming through Europe in Cage Warrior, she was a really solid fighter. But she's taken a step back a little bit since she's went into Invicta. But she's facing better competition, so can't forget about that. Sarah Kaufman, just being the veteran that she is, was very, very solid, and thoroughly won that fight in kind of really every aspect. She'll probably fight for the belt, and I think by the end of the year we'll see her back in the UFC for sure.
I think I would like to see Pani come to the States maybe and train for an extended period of time. I think maybe as well, I've noticed with the British women who fight on Invicta, it's that travel across to the States. Yeah, kind of catches a lot of them off guard.
Yeah, it's a long. Catherine Costigan fought in Vegas. I mean, that's a long way to go out there. I think the only one that's did it really well is Sonja Davidsdottir from Iceland, who's went over there and she's won her fight. She's did really, really well over there. So, like, it might be something in the future, or maybe the near future. It wouldn't surprise me if we see an Invicta potentially coming into Europe, or maybe into the UK, or something like that. It wouldn't surprise me at all, but they make a solid product.
Shannon Knapp about that. Oh God, when I said that to her probably about a year ago now, thinking about it. But I was like, I said, we've got several women in the UK and European scene that could easily help fill that card up. You'd easily fit an Invicta card. You'd even have potential up to 13 fights. You know, you'd have quite a deep card, and it would sell out. It would easily sell out.
I think they could. Go on. I think what if they put. I've kind of always thought of it doing like a Cage Warriors Invicta kind of amalgamation. Do like what Barma and Bellator do. Pretty much. Yeah. Get Invicta to start off, and then move on to Cage Warriors. It's on UFC Fight Pass. So
I don't know why they don't just do UFC and Invicta, like Invicta Friday night, UFC Saturday night.
Yeah, good.
You know,
they did it in Vegas. I mean, I really enjoyed the Invicta card when I was. I must admit, I thought it wasn't too big. It was a nice little kind of arena that we were in the hotel, and they just did. I really enjoyed it. It was like a really fun night away back in 2015.
I'd love to see that. So we're going to go, though, to UFC St. Louis. The fight card itself had some very interesting moments. Let's kick off the card. You had Mads Burnell missing weight against Mike Santiago. Coming in, first round, Mike Santiago did fantastic for himself. But then Mads really did what he wanted to do. He wanted to get it to the ground and get that domination with the grappling. And that's what he pretty much did from the second round onwards. Got what he needed, got that win. Will obviously work on his weight cutting, work on that side of things. for me, for Santiago, there was a couple of times on the cage where I thought you need to work more on breaking that clinch and getting away. Like, he could have been as well a bit more patient with his striking to keep the fight open. But I think because he was going too many with punches and bunches to get caught by Mads. And don't get me wrong, Mads landed a couple of clean strikes himself. I think Mikey Santiago could have got a bit more success in that fight, but Burnell just really got that grinding down and just got that win out of the way.
Yeah, he out wrestled the wrestler. I thought he looked really solid. Missing weight, it's a bad look. I think he missed weight in the first fight in the UFC as well. So
that was short notice, to be fair, though. For
yeah,
Mads. Like, so
it's true, but
you come a bit slack on the first time, second time round. Again, is it the travel thing that catches him out? We don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's solid performance. I mean, got him down there and really controlled him and really had him at his will down in the ground. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him back over here in Europe. I think that's where they should keep him out there and get him a couple of fights. I thought Santiago fought game, but Burnell just kind of broke him down. And when I was watching, I thought, right, third round, whoever gets this takedown wins the fight. And Mads Burnell got that and took him down and just ruled out a decision win.
Yeah. Next up, it was a fight that happened. It was something for both of them to learn from in many aspects. But next up, I really enjoyed this fight. Aldrich against Taylor. And what I loved about this fight was Aldrich, from round 1 to round 3, you saw this kind of flower blossom. Like, she grew with confidence with each round, and I see this as like a turning point for her in a UFC kind of career. She really showed what she did in Invicta in the UFC in the third round. Like, she was flowing with her striking, confidence was riding high. She was really starting to put it to Danielle. And Danielle, don't get me wrong, she cracked back hard, but Aldrich had bit more footwork, beautiful hands that she's always had. Man, I was so happy to see Aldrich really do what I knew she could do on Invicta in the UFC.
Yeah, she looked like she was. She looked like she's getting better every fight. You could see, like, even the commentators were talking about, it's like Daniel Taylor really getting the shot to defend herself because she worked when she won the fight. One put in a lot more time, I think, than what the other is, and JJ, I thought, picked her shots really well, fought long, and that's something that was hugely in her advantage because Daniel Taylor's so small. Picked her shots and just really won the fight. I thought majority aspects she was winning.
Here we go. Well, the internet is coming back to bite us on the ass, and it's joltering Skype. Awesome. Love technology at times, people. Yeah, the jab of Aldrich was really what separated them. You could see that jab really pepper Taylor, and you can see the eyes swelling as well. It was a heck of a performance. Buddy, what's your view on the Eye and Ferreira fight? You know, how did you see the fight itself? Your thoughts on the fight and the score at the end of the fight? Like, what's your view on that one?
First of all, I'll talk about. I think Jessica Eye is. I'm not sure. She was talking all that mad shit at the end, like she's going to do this, she's going to do that. She ain't going to do shit. I'm really sure it isn't. Kalinda Faria is not really known for a ground game. She got caught in a couple of kind of heel hooks, which I thought were really close.
Oh, man. Oh,
Jessica Eye was close as well. Yeah. She got hit with a big head kick. She got hit with like a kick in the third round as well. I personally scored it for Faria. But I could see why you could give it to Jessica because she did get takedowns in rounds 2 and 3 and she controlled the majority of the fight there. First 2 minutes of that third round, Faria was lighting her up with her feet. She hit with a couple of nice shots, but once it went to the ground, she won there. So it's one of those, everybody, you could probably ask 100 people and 50 people had Eye and 50 people had Faria. I had it just for Faria. Couldn't complain that Jessica won, but for her to come out and say that she's going to do this in the division and do that in the division, this Nikki Montano that's got the belt, I think she would beat Jessica. I think she would. I don't think Jessica's got it anymore. And as a betting man, moving forward, I'll be looking at opponents and thinking, right, I can maybe make some money off this. So, wasn't the greatest fight, but she needed that win big. She really did if she wanted to keep her career intact, because she's been a streak. She's won this fight. She'll gain confidence. We might see a different Jessica next time out, but close fight. She got the W though.
And I think as well for Ferreira, she was fantastic on the striking aspect. You know, she really was lighting up Jessica Eye. You know, and on the ground, like you say, that 3 minutes in the first round of those heel hooks on each other. I don't even want to imagine how their ankles feel today. You will not see them going out in high heels for a little bit. I can tell you that much. That was, those inverted heel hooks literally had me wincing, because I've been there. It's horrible. But again, like they were game to go in that 50-50 guard. And if anyone doesn't know what that means, ladies and gentlemen, it means you've got one, basically scissors. You know what I mean? Like, ladies, scissors, right? One leg in, one leg out, and you just, it's absolutely insane. And the wrestling, my problem was she wasn't doing lots in the wrestling, Jessica Wright, but Ferreira was getting the damage on the feet, and I'm like, damn, judging wise, that's a tough one to score. Like, I gave it to Ferreira because I was like, she lit her up like Christmas tree, and all I did was hold down to survive. I don't call that winning a fight. I'm like, I give that to the winner, like who's getting smashed up, but that's my opinion. UFC judges obviously scored it different, like you say, bro, and that's everyone else's fault. Going forward, I'm gutted that a certain PVZ, is broke her arm, because you could have had Eye against Paige Van Zandt, but we're not going to get that now. And Paige Van Zandt is not getting that belt anytime soon. But buddy, what a return! Kang against Canetti. What a round! Like, potentially already, you know, that's up there for first round of the year. Like, hell of a scrap that. What did you think of Kang's return and Canetti as well? Yeah,
no, it's like, I'll be honest with you, I missed that round. The NFL was on. We were just talking about this, and there was that crazy shit went down in Minnesota and New Orleans game. So I went back and watched it pretty early this morning. You can see both guys were rusty a little bit, but Kang's a specimen. I don't know what it is with these Korean guys. They're massive, like huge,
massive for that weight class. Yeah,
Dong Young Kim is the same. Zombie can be the same. He can look bulky as well. It's really weird how they fill themselves out. But he's huge, and once he got that locked in, I thought this is over, because he's got really good technique. I thought if he's got to really put it on, because the round was coming to an end. He got it with like 10 seconds to go. That's the fight that I wanted him to get out of the road, and then hopefully gets a fight again soon, because he only had 5 minutes. Get him in there again soon. And let's see him, because that guy will give some guys problems in that division, because his size, his skill set, and he's just a really good fighter. The guy's got a lot of fights under his belt. He's probably fresh, if anything. He'll have a little bit of rust, but that's probably disappeared after this fight. Canetti, he's older, doesn't have kind of nowhere near as much as what Kang has. The right guy won that fight, I think, for the division to move forward and can give guys potential problems. So really, really excited that he got back and got a big W and a stoppage as well.
But Canetti, I'll tell you what, he can be some fun fights. Yeah. That dude looked game. Like I think he probably thought Khan has been out for a while. I'll try to take advantage of it as much as I have, and see if I can catch him out. But dang, like he looked good. Like, do you know what I mean? For like what he did.
Put him against Duquesnoy. Duquesnoy against Canetti could be a really good fight. The guys will watch it, because Duquesnoy loves to stand and just throw. And
ideal kind of fight, just kind of spin and go at each other, no grappling, just absolutely 100% that. Yeah, but Kang, dang, that kid is going to be interesting to watch in this bantamweight division. Next up, buddy, Aldana against Bernardo. Aldana turned up. That girl turned up. Like, again, she's another one. She turned up she's in the UFC, not showing what we kind of thought she could produce. And then, for some reason, things just clicked on that night for her. Like, she was throwing aggressive, moving forward, and landing beautiful combinations, straight strikes, just really putting off the kind of tempo that Bernardo wanted to get out there. You know, she just kept landing some fantastic striking, and I think that's what set the tone for the fight. Really, you know, early on the first round, she landed hard, she landed at will, and it really just put Bernardo off her game, and that really was the kind of story all the way through. Like, Bernardo did have a good bit of fight back, landing some good strikes, but Aldana just had this kind of, when she started landing those 2 shots, she kind of just had this confidence shootout, and she was all game. Beautiful to see as well, because Aldana's got a lot of potential in that weight class to really do a lot of damage on people, and I'm glad that we got to see what she can do.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Aldana. I like it. I like the way she strikes.
Yeah.
She's very long. She has got a big kind of size and reach advantage over a lot of girls probably in that division. And if she uses it properly and throws the strikes that she was in that first round especially, she was beating the shit out of Bernardo. Bernardo was taking some heavy shots. I was surprised that she actually got through that round, and then she showed her toughness by coming back into the fight. Aldana's like really risky though, in like there's positions where as a betting man looking at it and thinking, oh, you're sweating a little bit because she puts herself in positions where she can lose.
Yeah.
But she did stop a lot of takedowns, and that was one of the things that Bernardo was really good at. And she beat up Bernardo pretty badly. The right girl kind of got the decision. Hopefully she gets a lot of confidence from this, moves forward. There's definitely some gaps in our game that she needs to fill a little bit, but that striking is really good. Put her in the right type of matchups and she'll win fights in the UFC for sure, but happy she got the win.
Well, that's what I mean, yeah. She's got potential to grow, time to grow, and she's in that kind of, she's on that, the rankings where she's got time to build herself up to where she goes to fight for those top 5 girls, those kind of, the more well-rounded girls, and dang, it's going to be good. Well, we kind of didn't think it was going like that, but Reyes and Favela, man, that was not how I think anyone saw that go. Favela is sitting there now going, I should not have done that. Like, how do you explain that, bro? How do you explain that? Like, what happened? What was Favela thinking?
Well, I think we both took Favela. After I come off of this, I went and watched back his fights, and I thought to myself, and especially the contender one, I thought, this guy's going to stand in front of Polo Reyes, and you shouldn't do that. No. This guy is heavy. You can see that he had a size advantage. Yeah. And he, like, from the very first shot he hit him with, knocked his mouthpiece out, and from there it was done. He fought really, like, I was actually pretty annoyed at Favela for the simple fact that he could have wrestled Reyes in one round. I think Reyes would have got back to his feet, but I think he could have won rounds fairly easily by using his grappling, and he just wanted to stand there and swing. I don't know. Because he had a lot of fans in the crowd chanting his name, so I don't know whether that was maybe that was setting him up to just go out there and want a barn burner of a fight. But he got his clocked cleaned by Reyes, and Reyes, you have to be careful with that dude because he's got massive power.
Huge power, yeah.
Yeah, and he showed it. Hopefully they get him another fight soon because he probably took very little damage in that fight. We'll want to fight again soon. There's many good guys you could throw him in there in that lightweight division. Yeah. Great win. I'm glad to see that he got performance bonus as well.
I think a big factor with that was Favela wasn't moving his head. You know, Polo Reyes just kept landing that one straight shot every time, and Favela just kept landing. And I was like, dude, if he keeps landing the same punch, you need to quickly rectify that by either A, moving your head off the centre line. So when he's throwing that strike forward, your head's just off the centre line. Either way, it doesn't matter as long as you get your head out of the way. Or you put your hand up, man. You've got to. If you're throwing a punch, if I'm throwing a jab, I can't leave my right hand down. I have to bring my right hand up. He needs to bring his right hand over a little bit more, or vice versa for the left. He needs to do one of the two. He can't just swing and leave his head out there. And that's what happened. He landed it once, and I went, I'll do it again. Boom, landed again. I want to do this again. And the other problem was Favela was moving into some of those shots, using his footwork to strike. Reyes just planted and got so much more generation power. Like, he's just like throwing this shot. Favela's going into it, more force. Man, and I was really angry watching it because I was like, that you could have won that if you hadn't have done that, Favela. And now, from the pre-fight interview, yeah, man, I want to get this win out of the way. I want to get a load of fights in this year. Well, you're not fighting for a while now, so well done with that one.
Off, yeah.
Got a lot of catching up to do. I think this fight next up, mate, is the most underwhelming fight of the cold card that I wasn't overly impressed about. James Krause against Alex White. And I'll tell you why. I didn't see an interested James Krause that night. He was with the fairies. He wasn't fighting. And do you know what the thing is? Alex White almost won because James Krause wasn't in the fight. Like, I don't think for me at any time, James Krause was too relaxed. He was just like, almost like, if you ever watch James Krause's pad work, people, either watch him holding pads or the way he trains, it's very like kind of loose flow. It's like a flowy kind of movement. They're just like, this is what they do. They're just like, they do like combinations where they just flow. It was like he was doing that in the fight. Alex White was like, no, dude, I'm going to fucking hit you with everything in every hit. And that's what Alex White did. And he was landing hard. And James Krause was a bit slow moving back and just kept getting caught. Like, he wasn't getting hit, so his head was rocking back, as you saw. But what happened was, he was moving back too slow, so the punch was still catching him as he went back. And he just kept getting caught by these shots that should never have landed, really. Because we've seen James Krause fight before. That dude can strike pretty well. He's quick, he's got good footwork, good angles. He was doing all the right things, but in a very slow movement and motion. And like, if it wasn't for his experience of and I think Alex White needs to work on his takedown defense, because some of them takedowns from James Krause were dog shit. Like, I was like, how can you not defend that? But anyway, I think Krause, I was like, dude, is it the weight cut that's killing you, or are you actually not that? Like he said it himself. He goes, fighting doesn't make me. I don't know if you want to keep fighting. Like, I'd be surprised if he does.
I think he's decreasing. I don't think he's the fighter he wants. You got to remember, the guy's been around in the sport for a long time as well. Yeah. He's got a lot of wear and tear on that body, and I thought he looked terrible last night. And it's another one of those fights where I felt really frustrated watching, because Alex White could have won that fight very easily. And like the third round especially, he hurt James Krause 2 or 3 times. Dropped him, yeah. And he still put his back against the cage and got taken down when he just had to move and angle off back in and have his back in the centre of the octagon. Yeah. He would have knocked him out. I thoroughly believe he would have knocked him out. Frustrating from Alex White. He'll be frustrated when he watches that back. James Krause, to me, is a guy. I've got a new stats list for 2018. I always do this every year. Fighters to fade in future fights. I put Jessica in there earlier on. Mm-hmm. James Krause is another. If he stays at 155, he's only going to get a better caliber opponent moving forward. If he fights like that, he's going to get beat. So, hopefully that's just an off performance. It's his first time back at lightweight in maybe 2 years, because he went up to the top. Yeah, 170. Yeah, 170. So he hadn't really cut that weight, and a lot of pressure. He was fighting in his home state.
It's like a local little rivalry, wasn't it, with the two of them as well? So
it was big fight. But when I was watching, I was like, "Oh, that's James Krause looks not good." So I would have preferred to see White win personally. Yeah. I think he has improved, but there's still a lot of improvements to be made. Yeah. But James got the win. It'll be a big one in his home state as well.
Would you maybe think about, if Krause can heal up pretty quickish, him and Pettis?
Yeah, you could put him in there with guys like that. Say even guys like there's guys that like normal good fights. Someone like Pettis, who's lost a couple, say like Jim Miller and James Krause, stuff like that. There's definitely a lot of fights you can put him in there. Yeah.
Hopefully we get a better performance out next time. And next up, we saw the debut of Michael Johnson at 145 against Darren the Damage Elkins. Talk us through that, buddy.
The fight started how I thought it was going to start. I really thought that Michael Johnson, if he kept distance and just used those like very quick hands, and by the way, he looked great on the scales. He did it perfect. And I watched interviews through the week. He had a cold on fight week, and I thought, oh, this is not good. Made the weight look really good, came out really good, and then Darren Elkins just does what Darren Elkins does. He finds a way to win fights. Whether he's getting his head booted off his shoulders,
Yeah.
whether he's getting his nose put into his brain, that motherfucker finds a way to win fights. And he's actually really entertaining to watch because you know that if you don't put him down, he's going to be there to the very last second and he's going to be pushing the pace and like pushing you to the limit. I was like shouting at the TV when he caught that submission. And I couldn't believe it again because he was getting his nose blocked off in the first round. But you knew that he was going to be in there. And to be honest with you, if that guy, I think Ortega's up there, I think Darren Elkins is right behind him. Like literally right behind. He's got the second longest win streak in the division after the champion. And I don't think he's shown improvement from being at Team Alpha Male, but you can see that he's just a tough fighter. And if you don't put him down, he will put you down or he'll find a way to beat you. And he's going into guys' backyards and doing that. He went to Dennis Bermudez's home state, beat him there, did the same with Michael Johnson. It's impressive. I must admit, it's really impressive for a guy that's not talented, but he's got grit, determination, and he's got a will that never withers, and he comes forward and he wins fights.
And that is the scariest kind of fighter.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, you have to stop him to win. There's no other way. Like it's very difficult to very difficult to beat his willpower because he's got this like kind of full tank that keeps going. But like you said, Michael Johnson looked fantastic though.
Mm-hmm.
He was brilliant in the first round. Lit Elkins up like a Christmas tree, and good lord, it was like the 4th of July fireworks if you want to put it that way. Like he looked phenomenal. Was getting great strikes in, stuffing takedowns, all that jazz. Was doing everything he needed to, and then did one little silly mistake with a kick and got caught out in the second round. But you could, like you say, Johnson slowed down the last 2 minutes in the first round, picked his shots a lot more. He was getting a bit over exuberant, and I like that bit. But Johnson, I think, is going to be a fantastic addition in the 145. I think there's some dudes, like the wrong guy could have gave him was Elkins. If you gave him someone else other than Elkins, I think Johnson possibly could be finishing people and putting on some quality fights.
There's good fights down there for him, like him versus Cub Swanson.
Yeah.
They're good. He's got a lot of good fights in that division. Hopefully he stays there.
Yeah, like a lot of Lamas also.
Yeah, good fights.
Yeah, so fingers crossed we could see more of that because I think Johnson should take a lot out of that fight because Elkins just that freak dude that gets the win. Next up was a fight that wasn't overly exciting as a bout, but from a domination point of view, from a this is why when you're highly ranked and you're very low ranked in a division, you don't meet each other yet. Usman against Mek. Mek taking a chance, an opportunity. If he got the win, would have shot him potentially 18 months ahead of his potential career already. So it was worth doing on that respect. Because if he loses, he doesn't lose. If that makes sense, it doesn't make any difference in the welterweight division too. But if he wins, he gets a lot out of it. And for Usman, if he loses, he loses big. Usman, like at the end, like you said, he only had 30% health. He's got a ton of injuries. Still took the fight and all this jazz. And you could definitely see it on the stand-up. There's definitely something up with him on the stand-up. Like, must be something, I don't know whether it's arm-based, shoulder-based, neck or something. Because you could see it. He did, like the fight before, he was really good with his striking. Looked fluid. He didn't look too great on his striking this time. Was just wanting to get the grappling in, do what he knows and does best. Mm-hmm. But the thing was, he dominated Mek. Like he didn't beat Mek. Mek is shredded, right? Lump, shredded, big meaty lump. You'd think he's strong as an ox, and Usman made him look like a 6-year-old girl. Like overpowered him with ease. I couldn't believe Mek couldn't fight back hardly. Like I know there's a difference in level of caliber with the wrestling. But, it wasn't even, this close. It was like, my hands are going, keep going. It was ridiculous, the difference. Like, Colby, I legit want Colby Usman next. That's the fight I want next, personally. Yeah, I don't think Colby wants it. Because 100% Usman I think will go through Colby. In my personal opinion now, the way Usman is, he's got a confidence, he knows what he can do. I think he would manhandle Colby.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love this fight. I love guys that can break other guys whenever they want. Usman, from the first 10 seconds, he took him down, and he basically put his stamp in the fight saying, I'm going to put you down, I'm just going to dominate you. I watched an interview earlier on the week with MMA Junkie, and he says he loves dominating guys and breaking them. Doesn't care about stoppages. Doesn't really care about that. He loves just beating guys down. Anybody who knows the sport knows that there was a huge discrepancy in the skill sets here, that Emil Mek was not going to stop these takedowns, and but could he find his way back to his feet? To be fair, he did fairly well. Yeah. I think a lot of other guys, if they put him in that position, he would definitely go back to his feet, disengage, and they'd be striking again. Usman's just he's different gravy in that division. I think that, I believe him when he says that people don't want to fight that guy.
Yeah.
I really think, give him another year. I came out on Twitter last week and said, give him 18 months, he will have the welterweight title. I still believe it. Woodley, I think, is a great champion. I think he could give Woodley problems though, but I still think he needs to progress. Interesting who they're going to match him up with. I'm like you, I want Colby Covington because I think he breaks Colby.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that I speak to who think the other way. They think that Colby's going to do it to Usman. Like a lot of people highly regarded in betting and picking fights, they are very, very high in Colby Covington, where I am the other way. Colby's good, but I think Usman's got more a kind of future progression than what Colby Covington has.
I think Usman's a very good wrestler, though. Like, what I mean by that is, he sets up his takedowns really well. He's very careful with his positioning, his arms. Like, people who don't know like how grappling works, he's very, very good. Like, Colby's a bit wild, even though he's a wrestler. Like, his striking isn't polished, and that's what makes his setups, his takedowns, not that like beautiful entries. And like, I think Woodley would have a field day against Colby. Yeah, his entry isn't that good, so I think Colby would have a field day. Woodley would have a field day stopping it. But yeah, Usman Colby, they need to have Usman in a 5-rounder, bro.
Yeah, I think that's the fight that they were supposed to have in this card. And obviously Colby didn't want the fight. He just fought Maya, which is fair enough. But if Colby was to face Usman, the striking, both guys can't really strike that great. It's going to be a grappling match. It's who the strongest. In that third round, Cameron Usman was still throwing Emil Mek around with ease. Like, literally throwing him around.
Ease, yeah.
And Colby Covington is definitely a smaller lump, probably with a stronger core than what Emil Mek has, but I still think that Cameron Usman throws him around. I really do. I want to see that fight. That's one of the fights, 2018, I'm desperate to see. And it's interesting who they're going to match him up with next, because Dana White wasn't too happy with him.
It's because he misunderstood the 30%.
I think so. But I think Darren Till, I think he'd beat Darren Till, personally. I think if he survives the first round, I think he beats Darren Till all day long. That's just my opinion. I'm still not really sold on Darren Till. I do think he's a really good striker, but I think he's very beatable. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Cameron does next. Gets better, gets healthy, because I don't think, obviously he wasn't healthy in this fight. Move forward and see who he faces next.
I want to see Colby. I think that's the most sensible fight to put next, is Colby and Usman. I think the best thing, the reason why is, I think that both of them have to have a 5-round fight. Now, I'm not saying it has to go 5 rounds, but I think they should be having 5-round fights, because they're perennial contenders, and I think you should start getting your perennial contenders ready for 5-round championship fights. So put them on.
It completely makes sense, because Dana White's come out and said that RD is next for Woodley when he's healthy.
Yeah.
If you're looking at two challengers outside that, it's Usman and Covington. I think Neil Magny's put himself in there a little bit. So Neil Magny could face one, and maybe Darren Till could face one. So
Wonderboy and Lawler, they can maybe face each other.
So there's fights there to make, but I'm with Colby versus Usman. I think it's the fight you need to make. Make it May or June, make it a main event, and I'll be watching.
Yeah, be absolutely massive. And then the co-main event, We picked it. Jessica Rose Clark beating Paige Van Zandt. Now, she won the fight, buddy, as we say, because Paige broke her arm. Like, she broke one of the bones in her arm with the spinning back fist in the first round. And there's a lot of questions that lead into this afterwards. But what was your thoughts on the fight as a whole, though?
Better fighter won. Better fighter across. She was a better fighter in every aspect. And I said that. You should go on my YouTube channel, you'll see exactly what I said. She's going to be too big. She's going to be the better striker. Paige Van Zandt thinks she's more athletic, and she does these jumping around switch kicks, and they land 1 in a million times, and she landed it one time against Beth Rollins. She's not going to land that against him again because people are going to be expecting that shit. So, completely dominant on the ground, where I thought Paige would maybe try and take it. Jessica Rose actually took her to the ground and just stifled her down there, and like she had a tough week, did Jessica Rose Clark, to come through and that could have she could have went the other way and not performed and not showed up. She came in, dominated. Fair play to Paige Van Zandt. I mean, for breaking your arm and still going 10 minutes, she's a tough wee cookie, but she's not a great fighter. Plain and simple, she's not a great fighter.
Well, she got him put in that triangle, and then Rose, now when you look back at it, was grabbing that arm and moving it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the broken one. She could have potentially went for the armbar, and because it's already damaged, easily have broke the arm in both, like the second bone as well. But this is the thing, like Dana White came out as well saying, oh, Paige Van Zandt, she's a warrior, she's tough as nails, all this stuff. But my conundrum is, like, if you've broke your arm in a fight, now adrenaline is huge. So she might not have known she broke her arm. She could have thought that she's got like a dead arm as well. Like the muscle was just back, like she had hit the muscle, and it was just too damaged to do stuff. She might not have known she broke it, but the corner must have known there was something not right. And do you sit there and go, well, do we just let her keep going to risk it? I was like, and if I'm a fighter as well, do I keep fighting when I've broken my arm? Is it worth the risk? I know it's a fighter's fight, but she could have got that. She could have come out of that a lot worse than she did in the second round, third round, especially when she had that triangle row. She could have went there a bit, gone for a nice armbar and make that breakage even worse. You know, all sorts. Like, I'm not overly keen on that. Like calling someone a warrior. I'm like, no, you're an idiot for still fighting. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, she's a tough cookie. That's what she is. I mean, she's an extremely pretty girl, and a lot of people would probably shy away, especially in the first round. If it happened in maybe late to round 3, then but that happened in the mid first round, and then she got Jessica Rose Clark was pretty much dominator in the second half of that first round. So she's plain and simply just not that great a fighter. She never will be. She's all hype, and that's one of the things with the UFC the last few years. They're hyping the wrong people.
Yeah.
So there's people out there that's not getting any shine, but there's people that shouldn't be getting it. So, it is what it is. I'd say, she'll be in fights coming forward. The UFC will match her up. I think that they know her ceiling. There's definitely fights there. Like all the new girls that have come in from Tough.
Yes.
Like your her against Ostovich. That's a UFC dream fight. Two gorgeous looking lasses.
Yeah.
You could put that on FS1. You're going to have people watching that fight just for the simple fact that these two girls were there. So pay-per-view, you could put them on like FS1. If they both win fights, put them as the headline fight in the prelims. I
think Ostovich wins that, takes it down, dominates on the ground.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Van Zandt will get better. This new camp.
This is the problem, it's where she's training. She went, I'm getting better. This is the best place. I'm getting better. I'm like,
you know what it is?
You're not. No, you're not.
The reason she left Team Alpha Male is because Cynthia Calvillo was coming through, and she seen that everybody was putting their eggs in Cynthia's basket, and Cynthia was just a better fighter. And I think that shows Cynthia is the better fighter. She's got more. She's more dangerous. Yeah. That's why Paige wasn't getting the attention she wanted, and she got out of there. That's plain and simple. She's got a boyfriend in her corner. She's got Fabio Scherner in her corner for the first time, so they don't really know the fighter all that well. They'll know it a lot better now, and maybe make adjustments going forward. But the right girl won. I'm very happy that she won that fight.
I am too. Main event time. Jeremy Stevens, Do Hoi Choi in the house.
Yeah.
Man, Will, that was a fun main event. Those dudes beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Best way to put it. Like they hurt each other, and they just went for it, man. Like watching that main event, what did you see?
Yeah. I think the thing that kind of really jumped out at me the most is Doho Choi has been putting matchups a little bit too. That's this whole hype thing. I mean, he went to UFC, did what he did to lower less guys, dominated them, and he's got pushed into fights with guys that have been around. Jeremy Stephens has been around for 11 years. Doho Choi was in high school when Jeremy Stephens was fighting in the UFC. So guys with 30 fights in the UFC experience, that's crazy, and he's knocked out UFC champions.
Yeah.
And so on and so on. Jeremy Stephens, I was a little bit iffy with this fight because I love Choi. I think Choi's got a lot of talent, but I think he's been pushed too quick against really tough guys. Hopefully now they see where he is. Who knows when we're going to see him again, because it might be a couple of years before we see him. Put him back against guys, lower level, with a wee bit of name that maybe coming off good wins, and then build this guy up again, because he's still a young guy. He'll come back when he's close to 30 years old, in his prime. Jeremy Stephens is just a tough out. And the further this week went, the more confident I got in Jeremy Stephens. I was like 51-49 for Stephens. By the time it got to fight time, I was like 65-35 for Stephens, and I put some money down on him, and I won that bet. So, loved the fight, very aggressive, a lot of really nice strikes landed, but a lot of missed as well. But it was just, he knew it wasn't going to decision. You knew that one guy was going to try and take the other out. And Stephens is a savage. Stephens will come forward. If he has to take a few shots to give a few, he will. And a big win to have. And he's on a nice streak. Melendez, Choi. He's put himself into that top 7, top 8 in that division, looking for fights again. So, yeah, really fun fight to start off the year. Really fun main event to start off the year.
I am with you. It was fun. Like Choi, I was like watching it going, dang, those leg kicks, man. Oh, those might pay off in a couple of rounds. Like, he's landing hard leg kicks on him. And then you just saw Stephens just starting to slowly get his range, because he was missing quite a few shots at the start. Like, he didn't get his range in the first, like, minute and a half. And then all of a sudden he just started landing out 1 or 2 strikes. And you saw his kind of hit rate just go up. You know, he just started to land more and more and more and more. You know, that was because he just started to get that range, that experience, because he's that much quicker at adjusting probably than Choi. Again, 11 years of experience in that UFC kind of pressure, kind of pressure in there. And he just got it, you know. He just quickly figured it out, and then bang, got what I need. And then Choi started to come back a bit aggressive, and the problem was Choi stayed in there a bit longer. You know, it's like in the second round, Choi stayed in the box a little bit longer to kind of throw a little bit more with him, and there he started to get caught out. And then when he did try to circle away, because Stephens was so close, Stephens was able to get that strike, especially that one that dropped him. But in the first round, Choi was never that close for Stephens to land a shot, so Choi was always able to get away and just out of range. And it was that Choi just staying out a little bit too long in the second round, because they noticed they could land on Stephens. So they the corner, I don't know what the corner said, obviously I didn't listen. Obviously my career is top draw, but Korean. But yeah, I think they might tell him to stay and land a couple more maybe, or something like that. Choi maybe felt he could land more. And I think, dude, if you just kept doing what you're doing in the first round for the second and third, I would have liked to have seen how Stephens' movement was then, to then see how that fight could have gone. But man, yeah, Stephens, good. It's bad to say this, but it's good that Stephens won, because Choi, like you say, is going off to do military service. So, you know, they had one comeback,
when he comes back,
ongoing.
When he comes back, Choi will have massive hype still, even though he's coming off 2 losses, and people will be looking forward to watching this guy fight. And the UFC have just got to do it properly by building him in fights that he's going to look entertaining, he's going to be devastating, and not push him against like elite veterans. Like there's veterans, and then there's veterans that have been around for the longest time.
Yeah.
Swanson and Stephens are those kind of guys.
I want to see
I'm looking forward
in
to this
Japan, like a Japan or Korea card. You know what I mean? Like get him back
Build
on
him.
there.
Huge
on
over there.
soil. Yeah.
Huge. They're massive. The home fighters over there, they support them, especially in Korea. You've seen that. I think he fought. Was he the main event in that fight in Korea? No, he wasn't. But he was huge.
Yeah.
The crowd went nuts in that fight. So
just
I'm a fan. I must admit,
Kang, Choi, all that. Imagine that. Just It would be absolutely insane. You could absolutely pack that out in a couple of years' time. You know,
Yeah.
Kang will be around in 2 years' time. People, I'm telling you now, that guy's going to be absolute mustard fun in that bantamweight division. Look, overall,
one last
sorry,
thing.
go ahead, bro.
Matt Hughes, UFC killed it with that. That was awesome. I knew. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And when they did that, it was pretty awesome. I went back and watched it a couple of times today, and it was awesome. So well done to UFC for that. It was like really well done.
I thought that was a nice touch. I watched on my lunch hour again. Back from my lunch, just put it back on again. Because it was just one of them things where you were just so happy, weren't you? Just watching him walking on his own, feeling like it was just... you kind of had that flashback to when he was competing. But it was just, it was a feel-good moment. It was one of those feel-good things.
Yeah. A lot of the people... I think there's a lot of fans nowadays that don't realise how dominant Matt Hughes was. Like, growing up in the Matt Hughes era, like, I was lucky enough to be at his fights. I was at the fight with Thiago Alves. I know that wasn't his greatest fight. He would have got knocked out in London. But still, like, growing up in the Matt Hughes era, the guy was dominant. The Trig fight, I watch all the time. Because, especially the second one.
Yeah. He was GSP. It was Hughes, GSP. That's how it went.
It's like BJ Penn said he built GSP and BJ Penn, and it made them bigger stars. And like
that rivalry. Oh my god, them on Tough. Oh my word.
It was
when he gave the Bible to everyone.
And they're best friends. Like BJ Penn and Matt Hughes are like best friends, and that's the way kind of fighters should be. Beat the shit out of each other, but then you're literally best friends after. I think if there's some guys on here that listen to this and have never watched Matt Hughes fights, go back and watch early days, GSP,
Monster.
Frank Trigg, Carlos Newton. There's so many fights you could watch of that guy that is awesome.
He was a trendsetter, you know what I mean? He set the bar. He was a fantastic dude. We've got another co-host joining in there at the back. What was I going to say to you, bro? He was a great kind of, as well, a role model as well. Like he was a model professional, Matt Hughes as well. He was the kind of guy the UFC needed at that time to show that they're a professional outlet. He was perfect for that kind of time as well, because it was in that early crazy days of trying to establish themselves as a real sport. Him and Georges St. Pierre, people don't understand that the two of them helped the respect that this sport got because of the role model kind of. Like if you had Conor McGregor's back then, people wouldn't take the sport as they do. They wouldn't look at it as they do now. I'm telling people right now, like it would not be the same. And watch Matt Hughes fights because he's just awesome. And watch The Ultimate Fighter, Matt Hughes coaching with BJ. Like when he gives those Bibles, I swear, still to this day, cracks me up. Their faces on the fighters, fucking brilliant. So, bro, we're gonna go to Bellator. I've got the start of the heavyweight tournament that's going on this year. The first bout is going on. They did a bit of a shifty kind of move by switching it from a co-main event to the main event when the main event was a title fight on like a week before. When you've done all your PR work and your advertisement for the past 2 months, let's say, then you switch it around. I think it's a bit of a dumb move. My personal opinion is silly move. I think Rory MacDonald sells that card on his own. It's Rory goddamn MacDonald. Douglas Lima is a scary motherfucker. Sells on his own. Now, don't get me wrong. Rampage Jackson is a name, and he is a name outside of the MMA world because of movies and stuff like that. So, and Chael Sonnen, well, it's Chael Sonnen. So, yeah, I could kind of half see that they're trying to push the heavyweight thing, but it's a silly move in my opinion. That man moving that around, switching that over.
It's just a Bellator thing. What the hell are you doing, man? Don't stop. Like. Rampage Jackson and Chael Sonnen are not going to get any bigger than what they are right now. You've got Rory MacDonald there, who could potentially be your face of the organisation if he wins this fight. He probably already is the face of the organisation. Then you've got Douglas Lima there, that if he beats Rory MacDonald, huge win. That in the elite of the one. I think I'd definitely put him as a top 10 welterweight in the world, but if you beat Rory MacDonald, you're maybe putting yourself in that top 5. I'm a big fan of Douglas Lima. Yeah. I've always been a big fan of Douglas Lima. Even Diego, I like the way they fight. I like where they come from Brazil and went to Georgia. When Douglas Lima is healthy, and he's shown in the past that he's fought when he's not been healthy, and it showed that when he loses fights. But when he is healthy, he can be the elite. I think Rory MacDonald's in for a tough fight this weekend. I really do.
Oh, I think Rory knows it as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is, though, Rory thrives off fights like this.
Yeah.
When you say to Rory, oh, you're going to fight a murderer, Rory just goes,
Okay then.
I know, he's a murderer, but I'm an executioner.
Yeah.
Like, he thrives off it. Like, look at the Robbie Lawler fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, he thrives off it. There's something about it that gets his freaky, psychotic juices flowing, man. And that's a hell of a fight, people. Honestly, I am so pumped for that fight. I will actually watch that over the UFC this weekend. Do you know what I mean? Because of the timings, the way it's working, I will be switching over to that fight. I don't care. Michael Chandler against Yamauchi as well, and the winner of that fight gets to fight for the 155 belt. So that's, you know, an interesting matchup in itself. Mike Chandler is, again, one of those guys who makes me feel like a slob when I see his social media. Dude, I don't think ever stops training. Ever. I don't even think he sits down. I think he hovers just so he can test his core strength. He's a freak of nature. And he doesn't eat carbohydrates, all that jazz. But that's a good fight. You've got Shane Crutchin against Aaron Pico. You've got Henry Corrales against Georgie Caracagna. There's a handful of good fights. Then you got the main event, bro, which is, like you say, the heavyweight tournament. Quinton Jackson against Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
Both of them, you know, light heavyweight, middleweights, going heavyweight. Now we all know Rampage gets big. When he's not fighting 205, Rampage goes to 240-ish, something, right? That dude don't bother cutting weight. And he'll be about I reckon Rampage will step on that scale easily, like a 242-ish.
Yeah.
Dude's he's gonna be hard to take down. Like, I know Chael's gonna be walking around about 215 or something, maybe. That's a big ass weight to move around, even though Rampage doesn't do takedown defense. But that's a heavy weight to move if you Chael.
Yeah, I think eventually, when Chael can't take him down, he'll start quitting on himself a little bit. And I like Rampage to win the fight. I think. I just don't think he'll get him down all the time. If he can't do it, Rampage will start hitting him with stuff. So, a bomb move by Bellator putting it as the main event. I can see why they did it, but it just doesn't sit right as a kind of hardcore MMA fan. It doesn't sit right, but it's a good card, really good card. I've been looking forward to watching that as well at the weekend.
Yeah, definitely some absolute cracking fights. Then you've got the UFC 220. First pay-per-view of the year is going down. 2 title fights at the moment of this recording, because anything can goddamn happen in MMA, as we saw last week with 2 fights getting removed. Right, anyway, so we'll start at the bottom, work our way up to the tippy top. I am actually looking forward to this first matchup. Well, okay, Islam Makhachev, that dude has got a lot of skill, a lot of potential in the lightweight division. I actually really like this guy, okay? Trains at AKA, another, trains with the freak that is Khabib. And he's taken on Gleison Tibau, who's back after his anti-doping ban.
Yeah.
Now, Islam got actually popped as well, but got it cleared because it was, you know, whatever, they took case up. But Gleison Tibau, this is the perfect fight for Islam. Makhachev, it sounds weird, but Gleison Tibau was a gateman. He's like, if you beat Gleison, then you should be going for top 15 guys, start pushing up the ranks, and you're probably worthy to be hanging out with the top guys. And that's what Gleison Tibau is. He's been around forever. I think he was there before the UFC was even created. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like that way with Gleison Tibau. Somehow he makes it 155 as well. I don't know how, because he looks about 250 pounds when he's in the cage. But he's a guy who I think Islam will take advantage of with his kind of superior grappling. I think Tibau's got that powerful double leg that we all know he's got, where he explodes into it. But Tibau's only got for maybe a round and a half, and then it starts to wane off. But Makhachev's not that kind of guy. He's the guy who gets you and grinds you down and gets you down with that kind of grinding wrestling. I see Makhachev just using that and using it on Tibau, and he could potentially get a win here. Like Tibau tied in the third, and maybe get like a choke or something, like a rear naked, you know, when he's sloppy getting up or something like that. Finish it with that. But yeah, I'm going with Islam Makhachev getting a victory here.
I'm the same. I like Makhachev. I think he actually makes this look fairly easy. I think he can make this a very dominant 30-27. I think Makhachev, even though he's not the best striker, I think he's clearly better than what Tebow is. Tebow will throw a lot of wild haymakers, where Makhachev likes using teep kicks. He's got a really solid left high kick as well, so it's something to keep an eye out. I think he'll use that to enter the clinch, and once he enters the clinch with those Russian dudes, you're going down. He's the main training partner, Khabib Nurmagomedov. He will take Tebow down in this fight, and I haven't seen the betting line for this one, but it'd probably be a pretty solid.
It is mine at the present. Minus 200 Islam and plus 170 Tebow.
I would like it a wee bit lower than that. It's probably is where it is. If it gets down to like 170, 175, I think you could play on that. But I think he's going to be dominant here. Get takedowns, beat up Tebow. Tebow says he's 35 years old. That guy could. Who knows what age that guy really is? Because he's been around for years. He could be in his mid-40s and we don't know about it.
No.
So I like Makhachev.
Okay, next up we have is Jamie Moyle taking on Maran Moraz. What's your take on this fight with the ladies?
Initially, before I really watched any of the fights, I was kind of heavy on. Well, not heavy. Moyle had a chance. Went back and watched some of her fights, and she's a little bit kind of inconsistent sometimes. And Morose is pretty much the same as that. But Morose has got a clear reach advantage here. I think she's got a clear boxing advantage. Maybe not clear, but she can definitely fight at range better. She can keep that distance. I think she can stop takedowns, what Moyle can, which is something I think Moyle will do. She's moved from Vegas to Team Alpha Male for this camp, so they'll probably, I would think, what part of the game plan is to get Morose to the ground and just be careful not getting submitted. I'm going to go Maria Morose. I think she's just a better fighter than what Jamie Moyle is. Jamie Moyle might actually want to fight more and be more hungry to win, but I'm going to go with what I think is the better fight, and it's Marina Morose. Be probably a very close 29-28 decision.
I was going to say decision and victory for me as well, and I say Morose. I think it's that length that will cause the biggest issue.
Yeah.
You know, it's Moyle's got to use the footwork, which I don't think she's quite got that nailed yet, to get that distance closed down. And I think Morose can just use that straight shots just to keep her off enough to get enough points, so to speak, in the round. You know, put enough in the bank, so that if Moyes does get like a couple of shots in, it's not enough to catch up. You know, I just don't see Moraes standing close and doing short shots. I could, like you say, I just see her using that long. You know, like I said, Moy used her front kicks quite well, but I think with the longer fight in Moraes, I don't think she's going to be using that in this fight. And I think that's one of the weapons that's good when for a short fighter, but with this fight, she's got to take that away. Don't use a kick that's not going to be useful against a girl who's going to be taller than you and longer, and use that kick actually more effective than you. So yeah, it's going to be hard. I think if Moz can, like you say, if she can dirty box it, she could definitely turn that fight around from a decision win for Moraes and make a decision for her. But I just don't see, I find it hard to see. I think Moraes can just keep that distance, like you say, bro. Next up, though, I was going to say Arnold Allen, but he ain't on the ruddy fight now. But you got Enrique Barzola has got a replacement coming in Matt Pissett, who on the regional scenes has been fantastic, is the best way to put it in the US. You know, the dude is a kind of a household name for regional scene fights. He's a finisher, which is what the UFC want. He's got a ridiculous amount of fights under his belt as well, Matt Pissett. He's been around, he's seen a lot. He's fighting a guy in Barzola who is a very strong wrestler. That Barzola's game is... Now, Barzola hits hard as well, don't get me wrong. Barzola can land some heavy shots. But Pissett has got a lot of fight experience, a lot more than Barzola. I think Barzola could get accidentally caught out here by Bassett. I think Bassett. I'm going to go with the crazy one. I'm going to go Bassett here, mate. And I'm going to pick him as the winner with a submission because I think Barzola, 3 rounds of shooting in for takedowns, that neck ain't always going to be in the right place. And Bassett is a kind of really good submission guy. I think I'm just going to go wild with submission win late on, or even early on catching Barzola out. But that's just a bit of a wild one I'm going for.
Interesting. I like Barzola pretty heavy, actually. I think that I actually really like watching this guy fight. And since the Tough Show, he's made a lot of progressions. This guy is really, if I'm being honest with you, he's undefeated. He should be undefeated in the UFC because I thought he won the Bochniak fight way back in 2016. I definitely thought he won that. Now, he's not beat the best guys. I mean, Gutierrez and Avila are not great. Gabriel Benitez is a great one to have on your record. He just beat Jason Knight. And he beat him fairly convincingly as well. And I was going to pick him to beat Arnold Allen as well. I was going to pick which... initially I thought Arnold's going to maybe handle him here, but I think I like Barzola a lot. I think he's going to get takedowns. Like you said, he needs to be very careful with the set because he has caught guys with submissions out in CFFS or something it is. I remember he caught him out there. Was on the show. Kurt Holloway, I think, beat him on Dana White Contender Show, and so he's stepping up here on short notice. I like Barzola. Can see where you're coming from with Bassett, but I'm going to go with El Fuerte for the win.
Nice, I like it. Okay, next up is a fight that it is almost like a Dana White Contender Series episode, this UFC 220 card. The reason I say that is because these next two gentlemen as well have been on there. Julio Arca against Dan Iggy, or Ig, whatever you want to say. This fight itself, how do you view these two fresh-faced dudes coming into the UFC, both making their debut on the big show?
Good fight. I think it's going to be a good fight for I don't know whether... I've got a feeling it's going to go a full 15 minutes. I think it's going to be back and forth. Julio Arce is a guy that I've watched for a long time. He's a Tiger Showman guy. When Jimmy Rivera came into the UFC a couple of years ago, this was the guy that I was kind of put onto through Jimmy Rivera. And, he's decent. He's got a 13-2 record. He was the Ring of Combat champion. He's lost to really one guy, and that was Brian Kelleher. Both guys, like you said, were on the Dana White Contender Show. Both won their fights. I think that Dan EJ is one of those guys who's just very well rounded. I think that Arce is a really good striker. I'm going to go EJ in this one here. I think that it'll be close. I think it's 29-28, but I think he'll get takedowns. I think Arce will get back to his feet and hit him with some strikes, but I think that Dan will just continue to put him down and win rounds very closely. He's fighting at home as well, so I like him, but very, very close fight.
I think the big one as well comes into these kind of fights is what rule set are the judges working on?
Yeah.
Always plays a big factor, because if you say it's a new rule set, then I go, okay, I might maybe look at Julio a bit more because he lands damaging strikes if I look at the two of them as guys. But then if you go to the old rule set, takedowns are big. And you're like, Dan is a takedown guy. You know, he likes to get guys down, and that's his thing. But like, I'm depending on the rule set. I think if it is the old, if it's the old rule set, I'm with you. I'm with Dan. I think Dan can get those takedowns and keep Julio down long enough to get the round. Like, I don't think he'll keep him down the whole round, but I definitely think he can get him down. He's got some solid grappling on that side of things, and he's got good submissions. But yeah, Julio likes to stand and bang. His fight that he had, Julio on the Contender Series, he was fighting a striker, the dude that likes to strike. Petty's he likes to stand and bang. You know, that was the ideal fight for Arca in that sense. But Dan, he's kind of almost like an opposite kind of thing to that. But yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think I'll pick Dan for the decision. He'll just get down, but Hawk is just a tough cookie, and he won't get finished in that sense. Like, you won't see him getting smashed to oblivion. But next up, dude, is a flyweight fight. I feel like I haven't said that for a while. But Dustin Ortiz against Alexandre Pantoja. What is your view on this fight? Are you looking forward to this particular matchup?
I am. Pantoja in Glasgow, I thought he was unbelievable. Now I know Neil Seery was stepping out last fight, but Pantoja beat him up really badly. And he's one of these quiet guys that's milling around that division that I think a lot of people will not really want to fight this guy. He's on a massive win streak. He's only lost, as you say, from Mega, and won very early on in his career. But he's won titles. He's got a lot of confidence. Comes from a great camp. All around, just a solid fighter. And he's got a hard-nosed, grizzled veteran here in Dustin Ortiz, who sometimes he doesn't show up, but when he does, he did what he did last time out, and he can hurt you. I didn't expect him to finish Sandoval as quick as he did, but he's a guy that can grind for 3 rounds. I don't think he'll be able to take Pantoja down as easily as what he has done other people in the past. And I think Pantoja is the better striker. I think Pantoja, this is going to be the coming out party for Alexander Pantoja, and I think he could win 30-27 here, and that's saying something against a guy like Dustin Ortiz, who's faced better guys than what Pantoja has. Pantoja, I'm a big fan of that guy.
I see Pantoja all around. I just think he is such an exciting addition in the flyweights. Like, he hits hard though for a flyweight. Like, he has got beautiful accuracy and hits you and hurts you. Like, dudes in like the 125s, not often you get a guy that hits hard. Like, John Lineker was a bit of a freak accident, and he hardly ever fought at 125. Technically, because he always quizzed weight, but do you know what I mean? But he, like 125, like this dude hits really hard, great athleticism, really, he's got solid grappling as well, like beautiful transitions, set up for chokes, all sorts. Man, Dustin Ortiz is too inconsistent to really put any kind of weight on to like kind of put your money on him, because you don't know what Dustin Ortiz rocks up. He has a lot of potential, but then he just doesn't play. He doesn't show up. And I think even the best Ortiz rocks up, I think he still loses. I see a 30-27 dominant performance here. And I think you see Dustin Ortiz get lit up a bit on the feet. That's just my view. And I think he shoots in a lot for takedowns. Eventually just can't get them and he gets lit up. Which I think leads up very well to the next fight, which is going to be a barn burner. We also, it's coming, Al Hassan against Homasi. It was actually rescheduled for 2/19, but then everyone said, I think they need a little bit longer than a few more weeks to get repaired to fight again, because they knocked 7 bells of shit out of each other in about 20 seconds in the last fight. And also, you know, they're cutting weight again, so I'm glad they got a 220. We don't have to guess what's going to happen. I don't see it being much different. I think it's going to be more or less the same, and I think, you know, it's just going to be the two lads beating the shit out of each other. I'm going to go with Al Hassan. Yeah. I think he was the less concussed out of the two, I think, off the top of my head. I can't remember now. They both hit it well.
Yeah, I'm with you there, but Al Hassan showed some signs in that fight that if he gets hit, like Hamas, I didn't expect Hamasi to really get at him as much as he did in that fight. So it's I picked him the first time around and he won the fight. I can't really pick Hamasi next. I can't do it, but I think there's openings here for Hamasi if he fights smart.
Both of them.
I think Al Hassan can gas out a little bit, and that's where he could potentially catch him. But I'm going to go Al Hassan. I'm going to go a TKO in round number 2. But would it surprise me if Hamasi was to hurt him and maybe put him down? No, but I'm going to go Al Hassan by TKO.
I'd be gutted if I went to the second round. I legitimately would be gutted if it goes to second round. Okay, next up, again, it's a fight. Kyle Bonang, against Brendan Davies. What's your views on these two dudes then, bro?
Mm-hmm. Well, I watched Brendan Davies this afternoon. He was one of the last guys that I watched for this card. He was on the Dana White Contender Show. Had a really he had a really good fight with Austin Arnett. Back and forth, a lot of blood. a lot of strikes thrown, a lot of shit talking during the fight. There's openings for Bochniak though, who's pretty solid technical striker. I think he can mix in takedowns, and that's where I think the fight is going to be won and lost. If he can get takedowns, and if Brandon Davis can stop it. If Davis can stop it, I think he wins a decision. I think if Bochniak gets those takedowns, Rins just repeats with them throughout the fight, I think he wins that. So I'm edging Bochniak, but Davis is from like Mississippi with Jason Knight and Alan Belcher, and those guys are crazy down there. So I like Bochniak personally.
I do as well, especially because, like you say, they had him and Barzola had the bout, and he held his own against Barzola, and you see how well Barzola's progressed, and you know, like Barzola's a tough ass cookie, and I think Davis isn't going to bring the skill set level that Barzola had when they fought. And I think that's where Kyle, like you say, there's gaps, there's openings, there's a bit more there for Kyle to land the strikes a bit more and take advantage, especially with, like you say, the takedowns and stuff like that. My only worry is how good Brendan could be on the ground potentially, because Jason Knight, Alan Belch is just a freak on the ground, like brilliant jiu-jitsu technician and coach as well. You look at Jason Knight, he is phenomenal guy on the ground. Like, he is a guy you don't want to stand on the ground for too long with. So I do worry about what Brendan does have up his sleeve that we haven't seen yet, so to speak, on his back, if Kyle can get him down. But yeah, it's a fight that I think Kyle should get the win. I should get a decision win, probably like a 30-27. Just got to be careful with those potential submissions that we don't come out of nowhere from Brendan. We're going to the main card, bro. Thomas Almeida is facing Rob Font. Now, Thomas Almeida had a hell of a rise to kind of contendership, so to speak, in the bantamweight division. Everyone, loads of hype, rightly so. Dude was killing it, absolutely killing it, unbeaten, absolute monster. Comes up against this bum called Cody Garbrandt, who got a lucky punch and knocked him out. But he came back, got a win against Albert Morales, which I think was a tune-up fight. It is the best way I could put that, because I don't think Albert Morales was the same kind of caliber as Thomas Almeida. I don't think that was a fair fight. But then he went up against an absolute machine in Jimmy Rivera and lost. So Thomas Almeida's in a bit of a tricky situation at the moment, where he really needs to establish himself back in the kind of bantamweight kind of top 5 contendership, but he also needs to show that he's evolved as a fighter, because his style people are figuring out fast, and it clashes with some of his styles. He has to show a bit more offering. I don't know if he will, because when you've set in your ways for so long, it's hard to kind of change. Rob Font is a dude who is a guy that could lose, but he also has little ways to win with the kind of submission side of things. But I'm going Thomas Almeida again. I semi-feel like this is a Albert Morales style kind of for him, kind of fight, but Thomas Almeida hits like a fucking freight train. But it's a great opportunity for Rob Font now. Yeah,
I'm a massive fan of Thomas Almeida. Him and Cody Garbrandt was one of the worst fights for me ever, because I love those guys so much. And literally trying to make a pick with that one, it was the fucking worst thing I've ever had to do, is make a pick between those two guys. And what made it even worse was I was in Vegas for 197, and I spoke with Cody Garbrandt. Actually tapped me in the shoulder while I was standing in line for something, I can't remember what it was for. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm over to watch the fights, and Mrs. is with me." And I was like, "Mate, if I knew that you were fighting a month later, especially against Thomas Almeida, I would have flew out for this fight instead of 197. And we spoke for about 10 minutes, and then I never had the heart to tell him that I was picking Almeida in the fight. And I've been, which is the worst, because if you've been known me for the last few years, I'm telling you, Cody Garbrandt was going to be the champion, became the champion, but I picked Thomas Almeida in that fight, and Cody Garbrandt absolutely starched him. I watched some of Thomas's fights again this morning. Oh my god, this guy is in some serious fights. Really talented striker, very precise, very accurate. Throws a lot of really nice feints and just a lot of nice strikes. His head movement is needs to work on.
Yeah.
Fight. I watched that fight today. That was a great fight. A fight actually that I think that a judge gave that 30-26 for Rivera. Fuck knows what fight he was watching, but it wasn't a 30-26 at all. So that he is still a young guy. He does have his chin in the air a little bit sometimes, so that's obviously something he needs to work out. But I think on the feet here, he's better than Font. Font's going to be looking for takedowns and trying to use submissions. From what I hear, Almeida's a black belt. I'm never too sure with young guys that have got black belts. So this is probably actually my most confident pick in the card. I've got Thomas Almeida. I've bet Thomas Almeida already, and I'm looking to continue my winning from last week. But a lot of money's come in Rob Font, which is surprising. So I'm going to go Thomas Almeida. I think he wins a 30-28, maybe 30-27, 29-28, but I think he's dominant.
Nice. Okay, then let's go to Francimar Barroso against Gian Villante. Probably the highlight of the card in this light heavyweight fight on the pay-per-view main card. And, well, Will, please tell me, don't be too excited about this. Break this down.
See, this this makes no sense to me. Like, I was talking about Alexander Pantoja. That's a guy you can push. Put him in the pay-per-view. But saying that, I can see where the UFC are coming from by putting him in the prelims because it's free. Maybe more eyes will be on him than the actual pay-per-view. This pay-per-view, I think, will sell well, but I think the prelims will do well too. Villante, this fight, I literally could not give two shits who wins this fight. But these fights, I don't know why I did it today, but I went back and watched some of these fights. Absolute arsehole that I am. And Villante is exciting. He comes out, he wants to throw heavy leather, gasses badly, and is there to be taken out. I'm going to pick Villante because I'm not picking Barroso, but, even though he could win this one, could get takedowns. I want Gian Villante to win because he gives me more exciting fights than what Francimar Barroso does.
And Gian Villante's quite a funny dude as well. Like, you know who's in his corner.
Yeah.
And yeah, Francimar is going to shoot for the takedown and try to dominate you from the ground. Villante, he's a big, strong dude. I think with the kind of advantage of having Weidman and everyone with him to help with that kind of grappling side, I think he could probably stuff it out and just stand and bang for a bit. He could definitely get a few off on him. So I want to go for Gian Villante as well because the dude's just fun, man. I just like that dude as a whole. Next up, though, and plus I don't want to talk about that fight anymore. Next up is Shane Burgos against Calvin Kattar. Very, very interesting fight. Shane puts his hands down, walks forward, and hits fucking hard. Kattar, though, he's like an unknown entity still in a way because he's had a load of fights, well experienced. Beat Andre Philly, which again, Andre Philly's one of them ones where he's a hot and cold dude. He has potential, never really showed it, but Kattar's just very long for the weight class. Awkward. He reminds me of Hooker. Because, like, kind of a bit gangly, bit unorthodox, just throws you off. He could potentially keep Burgos away. But then the problem you've got is, how does he take Burgos when Burgos lands? That's the question. How can he handle the striking of Burgos? So, I'm going to go for Burgos. I'm going to go for only because that dude, when he hits you, it changes guys in a fight, and I can see him landing because what he does is very smart with. He will shape you up during the fight to see where the strikes are going to land, what to throw, and when to throw them. And he's pretty good at that. He's got a good fight IQ for that kind of thing. Even though it looks like he's just brawling, he's working you out. And Kattar can, and he can hit. He can take a hit. I'm going to go with Burgos there. I don't know if he'll finish Kattar, but I think he'll definitely put on a great fight. I'm going to go Shane there.
Yeah.
It's hard.
When I watched Calvin Kattar on the regionals, now he owns a promotion, or he's got something to do with one of the promotions, or he's a majority or minority stakeholder in it. He's got something to do with it, and he's a guy that's never really impressed me, but he really impressed me against Philly. He's counter striking, he's heavy hands, punting his feet. and just he put it on. He put it on, feeling like you said, he's a bit hot and cold. He wins one, loses one, but he really impressed me in that fight at 214. I must admit. Shane Burgos, I think, had a great end to 2016. Had a great couple of fights in 2017, and this is what the UFC, they've built him. They went from Fight Pass, they went to prelims, they put him on a pay-per-view here in a Showtime kind of spot against a hometown guy in Qatar. Heavy striker, really, he's one of those Tiger Showman guys, so he's very technical, and he's got a lot of power. I think Qatar could win the fight. I'm going to edge Shane Burgos for a decision, but honestly, I think Calvin Qatar is live here.
Oh, the internet is messing up the audio again. Thank you very much, technology. So you said Qatar is live, and what was the rest of it there, buddy?
Qatar is live, but I'm going to pick Shane Burgos to win a close 29-28 decision.
Yeah, I think this has got potential for like a fight of the night one. Like, would surprise people,
Yeah.
but it's got a potential for it. I think the styles make this match. We've got a light heavyweight title fight. Daniel Cormier, Volkan Oezdemir. Yeah, I said Volkan Oezdemir. Who was, for me, I think he was my breakout fighter of the year. You know, he came out of nowhere, starched everyone, and got a title fight. I'm sorry, everyone. Top that. But it's man, like how do you see that fight, man? Like DC, who's there? Let's go for it, bro.
I'm heavy on DC. I like DC a lot in this fight, but I think there's interesting side things, like side parts to this fight, for the simple reason, where's Daniel Cormier's head really at? Now, he is one of the best fighters that we've had in the UFC, one of the most dominant fighters, who's just happened to run into the greatest fighter of all time 2 times in a lot of fights. That's all it is. And even the second fight, he was probably winning that fight in the second
He was
time
winning
around.
that. He was.
Before getting caught, but there was a lot of emotion in that fight. That's hard to come back, and then you find out that something's happened with him, and you get the belt back after losing. That's hard to really pull yourself up and really get yourself motivated. But he seems like those kind of guys that he wants to fight John Jones again. So he's got that belt back. If he keeps winning fights, and if Jones somehow manages to get back, who knows if he ever will. But he's going to be waiting for John Jones again, and that shows you the measure of the man. I just think the grind, if Volkan Oezdemir doesn't land in the first couple of minutes here, what does he really have to offer? In my opinion, he doesn't offer much. I think he's a cheap man's Rumble Johnson. And that might be me just talking out a line on Volkan Oezdemir. I think he's what he's did is really, really good. Like in a year in the UFC, won a couple of fights. Now he's fight. The grind is going to eat Volkan Oezdemir up here, and I think he'll by the middle of the fight, I think he'll tap out. DC will just put a hellacious beating on him, complete takedowns, rinse and repeat. If DC lets him back to his feet, if he can get back to his feet, I just like DC heavy here. There's a couple of friends of mine that are really heavy on Volkan Oezdemir, like $300, $400 on Volkan Oezdemir. Heavy. I don't see it myself though.
I am with you for DC. And I think it's the most logical decision to make. My only worry is that it's Volkan Oezdemir. Like, he's done it before, not once, but a couple times now, where he just catches people with one shot, puts them to sleep, and you think, like, he may be a cheap man's Anthony Rumble Johnson, but that dude can knock fuckers out. Cold. Not hit you, you fall to the ground, he has to hit you a couple times more. Volkan Oezdemir hits guys and deads them. Dead. Like, Jimmy Manowar, dead. Serkinov, dead. Like, that dude hits scarily hard. So that's, like, that was always been playing in my mind, but I'm like you, I think DC's too smart now too experienced to just want to walk into there for like a grappling exchange or anything like that. I think DC's far more wiser to maybe close the ring off Volkan to get the grapple exchange on, to get close it down to the cage rather than chasing down. I can't, if DC runs after him, legitimately I can 100% see Volkan just catching him with a like counter strike like Stipe did to Verdum. But I can't see DC doing that. So yeah, I'm going with you on that one. I think I picked DC, but there's that fucking little thing in the back of my mind. I'm like, that dude could do it. He could do it. Imagine Volkan Oezdemir, one hit, bop, puts DC out. Holy shit! I think the world would explode. Man, like that would be insane. And I've got Volkan Oezdemir's number. I'll be calling that son of a bitch up. I'm like, damn it. Anyway, main event time is, like you said, I think this is the most excited I've been for a heavyweight bout since Cain Velasquez and Junior Santos. Because when those guys fought, Cain was the badass motherfucker, wiped the floor with Brock Lesnar, and Junior Santos was just knocking dudes out for fun. And I was like absolutely hyped on that. You know, those two like were just, I was excited about both of them dudes. This got me, I was pumped then, and that was a while back now. I'm pumped now. Like this fight, super excited. Go on, Will. I'll let you get your first pick in there, and the first little taster on what you think's going to go down.
Yeah, it's a great fight. It's a fight that's got a lot of hype, and rightly so. I think it's the best heavyweight fight we've had in a very long time, and there's some people out there that's totally disrespecting Stipe Miocic, which I think is a bad idea. I can see why they're doing it, because Ngannou is an absolute machine, and to where that guy came from like 5 years ago from being homeless to making his way to the UFC 2 years ago to just destroying guys, like legit guys who've been in the sport for 20 years with one shot and knocking them out. The story the guy has is unbelievable to listen to. The UFC, I think, want to put the belt on this guy. Well, I shouldn't really say that, because they're a company that they make the fights, but you can see the dollar signs if you want to put the belt on this guy, pretty much. He comes from Europe, out of France, originally from Africa, so you're reaching into a huge continent there that the UFC really have never touched.
No.
And then you've got just a guy like a Mike Tyson kind of esque guy, really. But you've got the working man's Stipe Miocic, who's been out there, took his losses, came back even better than ever, and since that loss, he's looked really untouchable, being honest. So, I'm going with Stipe Miocic. I still think there is a lot of question marks with Ngannou, but in saying that, Ngannou's just went out there and did what he's supposed to do, and that's finish fights. The guy's got serious power. But if Miocic can initially repel those shots that Ngannou's going to throw into this fight, and if he can get, especially if he can get it to the ground, he will win the fight from there. But if you watch the Overeem fight now, it didn't last very long. Alistair Overeem got a hold of Francis Ngannou, and Ngannou, you seen Reem's face when Ngannou turned him around. He was like, holy shit, this guy is strong.
Yeah.
So I would rather go, it's kind of dog or pass for me. I think I know I'm going to take some shit when I make my prediction video for this, because Ngannou is so hyped, and rightly so. I mean, if he wins, I'll be happy, because he's a guy from Europe, represents France, Africa. It's only going to help the UFC, really. And I think these guys could fight a couple of times in the next few years and make a great rivalry. So I'm going to pick Stipe Miocic. I think he's going to survive the initial barrage, and I think he's just going to stop him in the mid-round. So Stipe Miocic for the win for me.
Nice, okay. Will, close your camera down and reopen it again. You're frozen. But don't worry, it's not a bad one. It's not like you're like this. It's okay. Love that breakdown. It is several points there that are absolutely 100% valid, and it is one of them ones where what happens if Ngannou gets hit by Stipe a couple of times? What if Stipe's got that jab and it's just stopping Ngannou getting in? Like, how does Ngannou adjust and, sort himself out? Because Ngannou so far has just been able to implement his own dominance into every fight. Stipe, unlike Alistair Overeem, is a wrestler. Stipe's got actual wrestling in his caliber, got it in the bank. He's got that safe. If he needs to, wants to, he could start the fight and just charge out and go actually for a double leg and go for that takedown. Ngannou's very athletic, but as a heavyweight at 265 pounds, that ain't going to go 5 rounds. That explosive power ain't going to last that long. End of. I don't care who you are. He ain't Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez could do it because Cain Velasquez was about 240, not shredded, bit of bit of cushion for pushing. And Kane could do that, but with Stipe, he is a far tidier striker, far tidier, and accuracy is far more dominant than winging it. Like, you don't see everyone winning with just by winging shots here and there, and I think Stipe will have studied Ngannou in that sense and saw like, okay, cool, he likes to throw these wild ones. I will have right straight and my jabs out there all day long to counter that. And I'm with you. I see Stipe getting a win. I just, because people write it off. Like, Stipe's won 5 in a row, 5 finishes.
Yeah.
Like, hello.
Yeah. Have you watched the countdown to the UFC 220 yet?
I've not had a chance. I've been at work all day. Got back.
I watched it this afternoon, and Ngannou says this line. It's like, he fears me. I think he lives off fear. I think that.
Yeah.
And it's like, to be honest with you, if you're a heavyweight and you know you're fighting Ngannou and you've seen what he did to Overeem, if he does that to you, you can let. I think he's living off the fact that he thinks that Stipe's scared of him, and I don't think he is.
No.
I think he's your fighter's fighter. I mean, the guy's a Golden Gloves champion. Yeah. The guy's a wrestler. He's just an all-around supreme athlete. Yeah. And I don't think he fears Ngannou in the slightest. No. He went into Brazil. He went into Australia. Beat Mark Hunt. Went to Brazil. Knocked out for Boots of Doom. Yeah. This guy, he's not scared. And I said a long time ago that Stipe Miocic would potentially, I think I said that he would fight for a title. Didn't say he would win it. I thought the Struve loss would be devastating, but since then he's been untouchable. Literally been untouchable. He beat GDS. I think he won that GDS fight the first time around as well.
I do too. I said that as well.
Very close, but then he knocked him out like the first round. Saying that he took some heavy licks in that first round, heavy leg kicks that really hurt him.
Yeah, he messed up his shin. Yeah,
it's a great fight. I'm really hyped for it. There's not too many fights I'm hyped about staying up till 6 o'clock in the morning to watch. This is one of them, because either way I think we're going to see a really entertaining fight.
Yeah, absolutely going to be fantastic. Okay, so Will, that's the card, but let's talk about betting, okay?
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, say new segment, new little thing we want to stick in here, because Will's the betting man, okay? I'm not fucking that good at betting, because I'm not knowledgeable enough about the betting lines, all that shit. When people say 1 up, 2 down, left, right, and all that shit, I'm fucking gone. Okay, Will.
Yeah.
I've got the betting lines here as of the latest I can for you. Okay, so I can give you the lines. If you pick the fights, I'll give you the lines. So what fights would you think are good fights to bet on for this card? Okay.
Well, I have one bet for this card already, and it's Thomas Almeida. I got him at minus 117 in America. I go by American odds.
Yeah, he's 120.
I don't really go by British odds. It's just the American odds are ingrained in me, because it's usually where the odds come out and you find out from there. So I like Almeida.
Yeah.
I like Stipe Miocic, but that's going to be a hard sell to a lot of people, because I think a lot of people will be on Ngannou by TKO or inside the distance.
Stipe is plus 157.
Yeah, and
so that's good.
That's going to get higher. It's one of those fights that you don't bet on now. No. You wait till fight week really kicks in by Thursday. See if it's maybe 175, 180, because money will start coming in Ngannou once they get more stuff out there regarding the pay-per-view. So I'm still thinking about betting Stipe Miocic. It's a risky one, because you know it could be over like that. But I just need to see. I need to see if I feel confident at the weigh-ins and so on. I think that who else is that? Dan Ige. I think he's an underdog against Julio Arce.
Yeah, he's plus 125 at the moment.
Oh, that's went up. So that was 110 when I looked this afternoon. So that's went up. I think as an underdog bet, that's not a bad play. I think it's a close fight. Islam Makhachev. I don't know what's he now.
He is minus 200.
200. So in America, he's actually. If you look in different books, we've got Odds Checker over here in the UK. You go and look in that. It's got all the odds from all the bookies that offer fights in the UFC, and you can find different odds. That might. Who are you using? Paddy Power or?
No, this is an American site.
American site.
Yeah, this.
So it might be different.
Yeah.
I know Marathon Bet over here in the UK. He was this afternoon. He was minus 173. So he's a full 25 cents below minus 200.
Yeah.
I think Makhachev. The other bet I'm looking at quite closely, and it's a bet that I've actually cashed the last two UFC events. I think at UFC 219 I had, who was it? Let me see. I've totally forgot. But last night I had Kyung Ho Kang and Stevens and Choi over 1.5 rounds. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Cormier and Makhachev and Makhachev and Moroz and Moyle over 2.5. So they're the kind of bets I'm looking at there. I think I'm probably only going to have 3 bets. I've already got Almeida, which I'm pretty heavy on. So yeah, I'm coming off. I had a great week last week. I cashed all my bets, which that doesn't happen too often. But the last week, I had a pretty rough 2017 for bet, and I finished off really strongly. But I've started 2018 really strongly. So hoping to keep it going for the rest of the year. And if you're watching on YouTube, drop down your bets where you think, because I do this in my channels, like if you've got bets, drop them down, let me see what you think, and I like seeing what other people say. So drop your bets and who you think is going to win and cash some dog. Last night there was 4 underdogs, 4 or 5, 4 underdogs. There was Burnell, there was Elkins, there was Polo Reyes, there was Jeremy Stevens. So 4 underdogs.
I couldn't believe Elkins was an underdog. That threw me right off that day.
He was like, I think he was plus 175 in America. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
So one of the things I'm doing this year, if I like an underdog and I'm picking an underdog, I'm going to look really hard into betting them. I really wish I bet Polo Reyes last night. I'm a little bit annoyed about that, but it's what it is. I can't complain with cashing my 4 bets that I did. So
would you do, for an outside bet, for a random bet, would you not want to stick a little bit on so we've got Homasi and Uzdemir? Like Homasi at the moment is plus 175.
If you've got like some lunch money lying around, a couple of quid, throw it in there and just go and see if you can make 15, 20 quid off that couple of quid that you can.
Yeah, Uzdemir is plus 275.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's going to go up as well.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a lot.
Like that would be like a random good one, just to stick like you say a couple of pound on, just because you'll get a lot back.
Some people are like really,
like you said,
really high in Ozdemir and like throwing serious dosh on him. That to me seems it seems really kind of silly to me. But some of the people that I've spoken to with audience, they've cash big bets like that before, so they know what they're talking about, and they know where they're looking at. But I don't see it in the slightest. But different people see different things.
It could, that's what I mean. It's MMA. Anything can happen, people. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go to your questions. Okay, a couple of questions to end off the podcast. Here you go, Will. So first up we have from our boy Adam Sean. He's Twitter handle at AdamSean292. Okay, so first question he has is, if you could know the absolute and total truth to one question, what question would you ask Dana? That's a fucking tough one.
I said earlier on, I would love to know the numbers, because there's still people talking about the numbers between McGregor and Mayweather. I don't think it was as high as what all of them say. I don't think it was. The other thing was like the sale of the UFC. How much was that really? Was it 400? Was it 400 million or something?
4 billion. Sorry,
4 billion.
Yeah.
Was it really that, or was that just a number thrown out there? Because I know they have to put it out to the stocks and stuff like that as well. But there's something like that. That's a really good question, because you could sit down with Dana for an hour and you could think of so many questions to fire.
Yeah.
How much were Dana and the Fertitas in the hole when Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner were fighting. I heard that the Ultimate Fighter saved the UFC.
Yeah, it was 40 mil, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were like 40 million. Was it 40 million in debt?
Yeah,
so it might even be more than that. We don't really know the full story. So questions like that, it's a great question.
What the beef between him and Tito?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to know about that. Like, why did that boxing fight never actually happen? Like, what's the reason? Did you actually bottle it, or what was the reason why? Because they might have a boxing match, remember? So, come on. Like, I think I want that to happen still. I want to see you two still bang. That's something that always like kind of sticks to me. But let's talk about old school. Some questions you do. You just, like nowadays, like not too fussed. I want to know about the old school days that were dark. Here we go. So another question is: again from Adam? Do you think fighters, corners, should be more susceptible at throwing the towel in when the fighter's getting outclassed, or is it a sign of toughness and stupidity? Kind of a kind of like die by the sword, you know, kind of like should they just say, look, we'll fight another day? Because let's go take an example to boxing. I know it's two different martial arts, but I'm just using this as an example because it's so prominent at the moment. Lomachenko is a fucking monster, right? He's a midget monster, killing it, absolutely killing it. The last 4 fights, the fighters have stopped in the corner. They just went, nope, we're not fighting. I'm not fighting anymore. He's beating the shit out of me. And he is dominating them, absolutely outclassing them. But then with MMA, it's different sport, because the best example is a guy that just fought this weekend, Darren Elkins, was getting battered and pulls it out the hat. So what do you do, Will? What would you like? Is it a case of if he's actually getting pummeled to the point that the referee should really have been stopping it, but he's not? He's letting it go a bit too long. What do you think?
I think it's about knowing your fighter and caring about your fighter and putting a lot of time into your fighter. Obviously, Darren Elkins came to Team Alpha, and you could see he was a hard-nosed guy. It was hard. He's got a chin of granite, but you've got to see that for yourself. And then I always go back to the Gavin Tucker fight where he fought Rick Glenn last year, where I was screaming towards the end of round number 2 that they had to throw the towel in for that kid, because if you know that kid, you know that he's taking a lot of damage, and it's only going to affect him going forward. The guy's not going to be the same. And I think he was with his coach for 5-6 years. You should know that kid by then. But then obviously what the fighter might say, like, don't stop it. It's maybe on him. So, but I think going forward, I hope we see more stuff like that. There's all this talk of like CTE. We've seen that at the NFL. We've seen was it Aaron Hernandez who killed himself in jail, the New England Patriots tight end, who he was only 24 years old and took a shitload of hits and had early stages of CTE. If you're taking punches to the head, you're going to catch stuff like that. So I know if I was a coach and I was in the corner and I seen you taking unlimited damage, the ref wasn't doing what he's supposed to do, you're too tough for your own good, I would step in, throw in a towel, and let you live to fight another day, and just try and look after your health, because you've only got a short window in this sport. If you're taking damage, it's only going to affect your future with your family and so on. That's the most important thing for all anyway. So
I think the best example, 2 examples I can think of as well, is it's one person was fighting 2 dudes and he absolutely battered them. And it was the end of the round, and he just made it to the end of the round, and he got battered as soon as the fight went to the next round. Luke Rockhold against Machida and Weidman. The pair of them couldn't even stand properly at the end. Like, when the round started, both of them were just on Queer Street already, and Rockhold just smashed them, and you're like, come on, why are you letting your guy go out there? You know what I mean? Just say, look, he's not recovered. Like, but then again, does that fall into the referee's hands where the referee goes, are you ready? And your guy's like, yeah, golden, yeah. You know, do you think, hang on a minute, no you're not. And you go over, you're not right, it's off. I know it's toughness, it's like, oh no, I don't want to be seen as being soft, but like you say, long-term health, also longevity in your career. You know, it's a catch-22, you know. If you're a guy that wants to stand and bang and lose potentially 3 or 4 years of his career because he's too tough-nosed, Well, so be it. But yeah, it's a very delicate situation. Next up, we have Matthew Hawkins. His Twitter handle, ladies and gentlemen, is @Coot. That's COOT 66 Hawk. He drops a message in with a couple of messages. He go, bud. With Bellator heavyweight tournament coming up, i.e. this weekend and going forward, would we ever see a weekend tournament like fabricated in the Hollywood movie Warrior? I like that idea because Risen do it. Risen do it on their New Year thing with the bantamweight stuff, and I don't see anything wrong with it. Shorter rounds. You make it a shorter fight, you let them go and off, and that's it. Obviously, if you get a thing where they just beat the shit out of each other for a round, he's going to take more damage going into the next fight. But at the same time, I'm not too against stuff like that. I don't mind it. I think BCMMA were talking about doing something like that as well. The BCMMA in the UK, that is, ladies and gentlemen, I think they're doing like an amateur flyweight tournament. I think it was off the top of my head. So yeah, there's opportunities for it. I think not just UFC, but other promotions can do stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Battlefield did it a couple of years ago. I'm not sure whether that was a weekend one or a one-night tournament where they had middleweights.
All for Nothing do it as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a promotion that did like something like that. But that was one night though. Actually, no, that was
yeah.
one night, wasn't it?
I'm not sure whether it was one night or it was over a weekend. I mean, it's a lot of strain on the body. Like I'm not a fighter, so I wouldn't know what I'm talking about in this aspect. But if you were in tough fights and you had to go back to back like that, your body's going to be mangled and in bits. But it's something that I think we'll end up seeing. I really do. I think going forward, wouldn't surprise that if we see something like that at one point or another. But just safety. It's all about safety of the fighters, and even if it's like 2 rounds instead of 3 rounds, or even like 1 round. Yeah. One round fights, best guy comes out, and then go from there. But yeah, it'd be interesting.
Or 2 3-minute rounds or something like that. Knock it down to like amateur style rounds, or because they did it in Risen. Risen, sorry, I meant to say Pride. Apologies. And you end up having like great fights with Vanderlei Krokop, and Krokop takes on Barnett and finishes Barnett, and just fucking wild it was. You know what I mean? It was absolutely insane. And next up, last question from Matthew. Oh no, 2 more questions from Matthew. Gosh, here we go. This is what the extra characters get you in Twitter, folks. Should the UFC wait for September and have Khabib and McGregor in Moscow? Well, the problem you got with that one, Will, is they've still got Tony Ferguson. We've got to remember Mr. Tony Ferguson's in there with that shiny belt. Now, they have announced that they're pretty much stripping Conor McGregor of the title, because Conor said he's looking to come back in September. And Dana said it's not fair on the lightweight division and holding everything up again, because Conor doesn't like to defend a belt. If I'm Conor McGregor, it's a very smart thing to do. Go, okay, strip me of my title. I've never defended it still. I can go back in to fight for a title, and if I lose, I technically never lost the title. So, on that aspect, it's a smart move by Conor. But what the hell are you doing for 9 months? What the hell is he doing? Like, I'm not being funny. It's not like he has to remind himself what MMA is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the thing is, we could be that he's got Ramadan, so he will need to fight again before May. I think
he is. I think the 223, isn't it? They're looking to do it, isn't it? No.
Yeah, I think maybe 224. I think that's in May.
Yeah.
So maybe around before Ramadan, I can see Khabib and Tony facing off fine, hopefully. And then if you do strip the belt off Conor McGregor, then make Khabib the full champion, and then Conor McGregor said he wanted to fight Conor wanted to fight Khabib in Russia. There you go. There. If or you could make the interim title is going to be on the line with Tony and Khabib, and then you've got Khabib versus Conor in Russia, like they were always talking about. So I'm still a little bit skeptical. I think Russia's a harder place to get into than what people think, even though
the UFC
ACB and all that. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if that's going to happen. I would be surprised if I see Conor McGregor fighting in Russia, but Conor McGregor surprised me a lot of times with some of the stuff that he's done, and he might just do that. I just don't think he'd like to go into Russia and face that guy. Fuck no way. I think if he wanted it, he'd want it in New York, he would want it in Vegas. Either way, I think he'd be in for a tough night.
Yeah, either way, he's going to get ragged like a fucking doll. Yeah, the UFC have preliminary precautionary, whatever you call it, booked Russia, and the some location in Russia. I can't remember the name of it now.
Big stadium.
Yeah, big stadium, like 14th of September or something like that. So they put the little marker down. So they've booked that. So I think as well, they've booked it for September. You've also got to think about what other guys. So you got Ngannou fighting Stipe. Let's just, for example, do hypothetical here. It doesn't matter if Ngannou wins or Stipe wins. They'll have one more fight maybe before September or not. But there's a heavyweight about who's doing all right for himself. Former Bellator guy, Russian.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Volkan, you could jump.
Volkov.
Yeah. He's a potential contender. Stick him in, title fight. You got 2 titles on the line, bang in Russia.
Yeah.
2 guys in there, whole fighting for the title would be huge, absolutely huge. It would sell out. You'd have pretty much the mafia, the KGB, Putin, and Dana might be allowed in the stadium. But it would be absolutely insane. I wouldn't go myself because I don't have a neo-Nazi tattoo and a skinhead, so I wouldn't fit in. So I'll probably get jumped and lynched. Not that I'm stereotyping Russia, but it's pretty much what it is. Okay, so let's go to the next question, buddy. Where do Jeremy Stephens and Darren Elkins go from here after last night's wins? We spoke about it before, buddy. There's a lot of matchups out there. It sounds weird that they're both top 10ers, but there is quite a few matchups you can do, and they'd be absolutely awesome matchups. They could face each other again. They fought each other in the past, back in 2013. I want to say. I think it was 2013. Or give them fresh face. Give them someone fresh. I'd say someone fresh for the both of them. You've got some awesome fights to do with the pair of them there. Who would you like to stick them up against?
I think Elkins and Ortega's the fight I think they should make for the next shot at Holloway, personally. That's one I think they should make. Jeremy Stephens, I think they should put him in there. Who did I say earlier on? Chan Sung Jung. If he's fit and he gets fit soon, I think the time scale fits perfect for a fight between them two. It'd be a great fight. You've got that little bit of story of Stephens beating the young Korean dude, and now he's facing the veteran Korean dude. So I think that's the fights I would make. Ortega versus Elkins, which is interesting because Elkins is going to stick around and he's just versatile. Yeah. And then you've got Stephens versus Chan Sung Jung, which is just going to be an all-out war.
It would be it'd be a good crack, yeah. It would.
Yeah.
And there you go. It was a decision win for Jeremy Stephens when they last fought. So, like I said, you could run that back. I don't think anyone would really mind so much.
Yeah.
But again, you want to maybe stick out fresh faces for them. You could maybe do Jeremy Stephens again against Cub Swanson. Because it's a different Jeremy Stephens now. And what I mean by that is Jeremy Stephens was only just getting into the 145 division around that time. And it was a tough cut back then. He's adjusted his body way different now. The cut's a lot easier. He looks far more conditioned at 145. That would be a scrap. I think that would be a hell of a fight, the pair of them. Because they just both beat the same guy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, there's too many fights. There's too many fights out there to mix up for them. I can't wait. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the podcast this week. Thank you all for listening. Lots to get through. But we will be sticking this online. Again, give it a subscribe, give it a follow. And we will be back next week for more fights. Any last messages, buddy?
No, just keep on supporting. Keep on viewing the video. Keep on leaving your comments. If you have bets this weekend, put them in the drop down box. And just help us by pushing ourselves forward in 2018. Other social networks, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just come and follow us. Anytime you need to speak to us, MMA Huddle on Twitter, come and send us a question. Even if you just want to talk fights, come on there and talk away to us. But until next week, we'll see you all again.